Okay, so someone sent me this body language specialist video. I think his channel is called the Behavioral Arts or something like that. He's also a criminal investigator, and he's been looking at the interview I did with Blake and Parker and been analyzing the body language that I have and that the other women have in that interview. And I find it quite interesting. It was like a 37-minute long video. And when I looked at everything he said about my body language, I thought he was pretty spot on.
Well, let's talk about Kirsty, the interviewer, because on numerous occasions it cuts to her and we're seeing some behaviors that weren't necessarily there before. There are certain moments where even that polite or social smile has completely faded and it's just blank expression. We're seeing those adapters or pacifiers now have skyrocketed. Whereas earlier it was a subtle thing like this, now we're seeing the individual hands kind of rubbing back and forth like this. And I can't give you a better example of an adapter or a pacifier. We have someone here who's talking with her hands earlier. We saw a little bit of this, but now we're definitely seeing this back and forth massaging gesture, which is self-soothing.
I always analyze the things that I do myself. When I do an interview, I watch it afterwards and I'm very critical. I'm like thinking, yeah, I should have done that differently. I should have done that differently. But something that he pointed out that I'm very aware of is that I do this with my fingers when I'm nervous in interviews. And I also do it on purpose to stay focused. I pinch my nails into my fingers like this to stay focused. Because it's very easy to lose focus in these interviews, and you need to be good at listening and not get distracted by everything that's going around in the room, because there's a lot of people in that room, so it's easy to get distracted. And especially in that conversation that you all know didn't go so well, I was doing this a lot more. I was blinking with my eyes more. I didn't know that actually, and that he pointed that out.
Almost every time it cuts to her, we see a very increased blink rate. Blink, 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 blink. And there's one particular one that we see in that moment where she tries to jump in and fails. So she's sitting there listening to them, and as an experienced interviewer, she's probably waiting for her in, like a way to get back in the conversation. And blink rate is often associated with stress, because the more we stress, the more the eyes dry out, and blinking a lot corrects that.
But this thing, it's quite funny because when you see all my other interviews, I think I have like 450 interviews on this channel, and every time I'm doing this. But it was funny because I interviewed my fellow Norwegian, Kristin Wiig once, and she said that she does use the same kind of technique to stop her from laughing when she's doing like sketches on SNL and whatever, because I've noticed that she sometimes almost starts laughing. And she told me she does this. Just look. I mean, especially when it's live and stuff, you can't really burst out in laughter. Do you have like a go-to kind of sad thing that you feel about not to laugh?
I mean, if I'm shooting, I do sometimes dig my fingernails into my thumb so I don't laugh. And I just think about, I don't know, I just try not to do it, because once I open that floodgate, I just can't ever pull. And the few times that I've broken on SNL, I'm gone for the whole sketch. I can't get back. I can't do it.
So when I do interviews, I usually spend a lot of times doing research and working on my questions and thinking what kind of, what should I ask first? How do I want to go in this direction? And I want to make every interview into more like a conversation than an interview, because I want to make it enjoyable to watch. And I also want people to learn something new about their favorite celebrity. And so that's always been my focus going into these settings. And as you could see from that interview with Blake and Parker, nothing went according to plan. And I was never gonna really ask the question about the costume. It just came out because I felt that the mood was weird, and I thought, okay, I'll just ask a very simple question that's gonna be easy for them to talk about to kind of lighten the mood a little bit, which obviously didn't work. But I never really asked those very typical questions like, how was it working with so-and-so? What was the most challenging scene that you did in this movie, and what went through your mind when you read the script? All those things that everyone just keeps asking because it's boring and repetitive. And I think the actors doesn't really like it either, because it's the same thing over and over and over again all day long. And sometimes these celebrities do like 60 interviews back to back to back to back. So I mean, you can't blame them if they get a little bit bored. What I've noticed is that when you ask something a little bit out of the ordinary, or you show them that you've done research on them, they get very excited. I've gotten so much feedback after interviews from different celebrities saying like, oh, I loved your line of questioning. It was so interesting and it was so refreshing. And I remember even Henry Winkler came into the press room to find me and he was like, you did your research. You knew so much. That was great. That was a really interesting conversation. And of course, that's really nice. And that makes it nice to watch as well. That's my point. Because I do make videos and interviews for people to watch. As I said, there's been a lot of videos about me online. Some people are making up these crazy stories, and it's kind of entertaining for me to be on this side of things now, because I'm usually the journalist who writes about other people, and now people are making videos about me, which is kind of an awkward position to be in, and I don't want to really comment on a lot of those. Some people are trying to make up like conspiracy theories around things, which, I mean, I just have to laugh about it. But anyways, I am flattered that so many people want to talk about this, and I hope, as I said before, that this video will make into a bigger, conversation about, especially about bullying in the workplace, because I think a lot of people have experienced that. So if this video or this discussion can help with that, that will be amazing. Also, a lot of people have been trying to pronounce my name, and I have to say that it's hard. If you're not from Norway or Sweden or Denmark, it's going to be hard to pronounce Kjersti, because that sound doesn't really exist in a lot of other languages. So I've heard different pronunciations and they're all perfect to me. So to end this video on a lighter note, I wanted to show you this little clip that I have from my first, I think, ever on-camera interview that I had with Jennifer Aniston in 2008. We both look so young. It's sweet. She was making such an effort to try and pronounce my name, and she was so interested in it, which was so sweet. Anyways, here it is.
What's your last name?
Q. FLA is my last name.
FLA?
I don't know why I'm wondering what it is. Her name was just very interesting.
Say it again.
My first name is Kjersti. Kjersti?
Do you have a short nickname?
I call myself Kirsty because
Kirsty? Okay, that's your name. Now I would not know. If I saw that, I'd go Kjersti Fla.
Everyone does that.
Do they?
That's why I say Kirsty.
Kirsty.
Yeah.
You look like a Kirsty.
I do.
Pretty color purple.
Thank you.
Okay, so Mark Wahlberg and Ryan Reynolds also did their best, which I think they did a really good job.
What's your last name?
Flo? FLA.
FLA. Gotcha. All right, thank you. It's spelled. Okay.
How do you pronounce it?
Okay, this is
Flo?
Christy Flo.
Yeah.
Flo.
Yeah.
You have speed. From
Flo.
Pro 7
Flo.
Germany, you have
Flo.
speed.
Flo.
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 Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Say it.
I say it's Kjersti.
Kjersti?
Kjersti.
Where are you from?
Norway.
Norway.
That's somewhere I've always wanted to go.
So I think I'm gonna give Mark Wahlberg 10 out of 10 for that flaw. Anyways, I hope I see you guys again, and thank you for watching. And if you have any questions for me, please leave a comment below and give me feedback. I love that. I hope you all take care of each other and be kind to each other, and I hope I see you again soon.